Stupidity is really obvious. It doesn't always look like ignorance. It doesn't always sound like wrong answers. In fact, some of the clearest signs of low intelligence are often mistaken for confidence, strength, or even charisma. Because stupidity is not just about what someone knows, it's about how they think. And the most dangerous part is this: many people who lack intelligence are the least aware of it. So here are 8 subtle signs to recognize a stupid person. 1. Absolute certainty with little knowledge. They speak as if they fully understand something when they've barely scratched the surface. No hesitation, no nuance, no I might be wrong, just certainty. Because they don't see the complexity, they assume it isn't there. 2. They can't admit they are wrong. Being wrong is not the issue. Everyone is wrong sometimes, but the inability to admit it is where the problem begins. They deflect, they justify, they change the subject, because admitting error requires self-awareness, and without that, growth stops completely. 3. They interrupt instead of listening. Listening requires patience. It requires processing someone else's perspective, but instead, they jump in, cut people off, finish sentences, redirect conversations, not because they understand faster, but because they are uncomfortable not being in control. 4. They oversimplify everything. Complex problems are reduced to simple answers: black or white, right or wrong, good or bad, no middle ground, no layers, because complexity requires effort and their thinking avoids it. 5. They rely on emotion over logic. When challenged, they don't analyze, they react. Anger, defensiveness, mockery. Emotion becomes the argument, not because they are passionate, but because logic will expose gaps they cannot defend. 6. They mock what they don't understand. Instead of asking questions, they dismiss. That's stupid, that doesn't make sense, that's overthinking. Mockery becomes a shield because curiosity would require admitting, I don't understand this. 7. They repeat the same mistakes. Patterns don't change, same decisions, same outcomes, same consequences, again and again, because learning requires reflection, and reflection requires honesty. Without it, experience teaches nothing. 8. They think thinking is effortless. They assume their thoughts are automatically correct. They don't question their reasoning. They don't check their assumptions. They don't slow down to analyze, because to them, thinking is not a process, it's a reaction. And at this point, something becomes clear. Stupidity is not about intelligence level alone. It's about mental habits, patterns that avoid depth, correction, discomfort. And these patterns are more common than most people think. Modern life makes this worse. Short content, fast opinions, constant noise. People are rewarded for quick responses, strong opinions, emotional reactions, not for careful thinking, deep analysis, intellectual humility. So these patterns don't just exist, they spread. Here's the uncomfortable part. Anyone can fall into this, not permanently but temporarily, under pressure, under ego, under emotion. Even intelligent people can behave stupidly. The difference is whether they recognize it. So the real goal is not to label others, it is to avoid becoming this. And that requires questioning your own certainty, allowing yourself to be wrong, slowing down your thinking, choosing understanding over reaction, because intelligence is not fixed, it is practiced.